Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Mr. V Teaches Math, and today what we're going to do, folks, is we're going to look at, again, two lessons at the same time. We're going to look at solving equations by multiplication and division. So the goal that we have is to use algebra tiles to model equations with multiplication and division, and then we get to solve equations using multiplication and division. And so we remember back to the other day when we said that a red circle means add one, blue circle means subtract one, and the larger rectangles are the variables. So that's going to help us out when we do multiplication. Remember, don't remember, what we're going to look at is the idea that when a variable is being divided, I'll have a dashed line or dashed lines depending on how many times we have to divide it. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a few examples. And so we have 2x equals 8, which means 2 times a number equals 8. Okay? Now, what that means is I have two variables, 2, 4, 6, and it's going to be equal to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, in order to solve this, what I have to do is I have to think that I want to, again, get this down to one group. So I have to actually divide this by 2 to get rid of that. So I divide it into 2 even groups of just this one variable. I got to do the same thing here. I got to divide 8 into 2 even groups. Well, it's pretty even. I can just divide this into 2 even groups. And so what I'm left with is that this one group equals 4. Okay? And so what I do is I take this, and I know that I'm going to divide this by 2, and I'm going to divide this by 2. So 2x divided by 2 just equals x, and then 8 divided by 2 equals 4. Okay? That's how I solve that first one. Likewise, if I have 4x equals 8, and I have these 4 unknowns, and I have my my 8 red counters again. So 4 of those groups, even a little bit hard to see. Maybe I can get them sideways. Sort of. I have these 4 unknowns are equaling 8. So 4x, 4 unknowns, 4 variables equal 8. So if I have to divide that into 4 even groups, I have these groups of 2. Okay, so when I divide that by 4, divide this by 4, I see that one of the groups is just equal to 2. Okay? And so with my equation, what I do here is I divide both sides by 4. 4x divided by 4 is just x, or 1x, and then 8 divided by 4 is 2. Okay? So that's how you use models, that's how you solve them for multiplication, by using division, rather. Now, these ones are a little bit different. I have x over 2 equals 3. So I have this variable, and it's divided by 2. Okay, and it means that equals, after I've done that division, that equals 3. Now what I want to do is get this from 2 groups, from being sliced in half, to being a whole group. So when I do that, when I turn this back into one whole group, I have to double this size, okay, because I have to multiply it by 2. So that means that when I double that group, that actually equals 3. Okay, so what happens here is this becomes it becomes x equals 3 times 2, so x equals 6. Okay. Likewise, I have this x over 3, which means that this is divided up into 3 groups, and it equals 4. Which means that I want to change this from something that's divided into 3 groups, telling me that in one section here is 4. I want to change that to one whole group, which means I have to make this 3 times larger. Which means when I do that, in one if I make that 3 times as large like I had to do here, I got to do it here. That means I end up with 12. So what happens is, you have x equals 4 times 3, which means x equals 12. Okay, so that's the numeric method for solving these equations. Then I showed you how to model it as well. Okay, so have a great night, and see you guys tomorrow.